Hello FlossTube, welcome to the scienceknitster channel, or welcome back. This is Deb or Deborah. This channel is about my crafty things. Almost all of them involve some kind of fiber. Most of the time I show cross stitch and knitting, but I also enjoy other crafts. They sometimes make an appearance. In addition to welcoming back everyone, I'd like to give a special welcome to all the new subscribers. I've had quite a few in the last couple weeks since I posted my last FlossTube on Christmas Day, which focused on my Christmas finishes and WIPs from the last year. So today's recording will focus on all of the WIPs that I have touched since the beginning of 2023. And so just in the year 2023. I actually use the X-Stitch Plus app, and except for a few things, well actually maybe more than a few things, that have been on the go for quite a while and I haven't worked on since I got the X-Stitch app. Most of the things that I have started or have at least touched once since I started using the X-Stitch app in 2020 are in there. And so based on that, I have over 70 WIPs. So I'm not going to show all of them today, just the ones that I started or worked on in 2023. But first, before I get there, I do have two more Christmas WIPs that I neglected to show last time. They ended up in a different staging place and I forgot to bring them over to the table and realized it after I posted the recording. So let me show you those and then we'll get on to my 2023 WIP, the WIPs that I worked on in 2023. So one of the Christmas WIPs I'm working on or have worked on, actually I did not work on this at all in 2023. I don't know why, because I'm really close to a finish and I should just get it done. It's one of the Lizzy Kate stocking sleds. So this is a snippet number 134. And I'm working on this one here. And here it is. You can see, oh, it goes this way. And I do have a sled to put this on. I've been toying with the idea of spray painting the sled white, but as you can see in the way Lizzy Kate did it, she actually did put it on there on the sled as brown, but here it is. I actually have quite a few of the Lizzy Kate sleds and a few other sleds that are not Lizzy Kate. I think all the ones I have in this bag are Lizzy Kate ones. But these come with the beads and buttons that you see on the front there. I believe you can still get pretty much all or most of the Lizzy Kate catalog, except for things that were limited editions from 123 Stitch. Okay. This is my bag with my perforated paper stuff. So let me get that out of the way. And then the other WIP that I forgot to show, Christmas WIP that I forgot to show is, I don't have a picture. Not a color picture, so I actually, that's not the right one. This is a bag, project bag with some Barbara Anna Christmas related things in it, and the one that I had been working on is Infinite Christmas. This was a freebie that was available via Instagram, and I think all her freebies are still available there. So this is Infinite Christmas. I am using the called for threads, except for the ecru. When I started this, I didn't have any ecru floss handy, but I happen to have this number 12 pearl cotton, which works great on 32 count. It's basically like 2 strands of DMC floss. So these are the floss colors. And I am doing this on, excuse me, 32 count light mocha by Zweigart. And this is all as far as I got. Okay, so I'm actually, I started at the bottom, or I probably started in the middle and went down. So I should show it this way. I had intended to work on this year, but I just never got to it. Or this past year in 2023, because I do like Barbara Anna. Okay, so that's Infinite Christmas. So those are the 2 Christmas WIPs that I forgot to show in my Christmas WIP Parade. So please forgive me. So the rest of these WIPs are all non-Christmas, anything not Christmas that I worked on in 2023. So it will not include any of the things that I showed in my last FlossTube. And I forgot to mention, today is Saturday, January 6th. And I'm going to call this a FlossTube Extra because I'm not going to talk about any of my current stitching or anything like that. I will record another FlossTube in a week or two where I talk about everything I've worked on since my last regular FlossTube on Christmas Day. Yeah, okay. So first up, so I have these sort of arranged. First, anything that isn't a reproduction sampler, and then I have my reproduction samplers. So this is Bent Creek's Uber Snowman. If you're a return viewer, you know that I have worked on, am working on, have finished, and I'm working on several of the Ubers. This was, as far as I know, this was the last one. This one was published in 2011. But I think a lot of these are still available, but I'm not sure. Because I only bought this one in 2020 or 2021. But I did work on this at the beginning of the year. He still doesn't have a head. See if I can get this. So I'm working this on 32 count light natural linen, using pearl cotton number 5. I am using all of the called for colors. Let's see. I'm definitely using all the DMC, and I think I'm using, there's 4 colors that are Weeks Dye Works, and I'm using, I think for a couple of them I decided to use the DMC because there wasn't that much of it. Okay, let's see, the light's a little bit better back here, so I'll have to remember that. Okay, so Uber Snowman. I plan to work on this one this month. And my threads are kind of a mess. I keep my pearl cotton in little bags for the most part, except for the over dyes. Those I put on rings. Okay. So that's Uber Snowman, which I made a working copy of. Let's see. Okay, I got a bin here to put everything in when I'm Okay, because I have over 20 things to show you. Okay, next up. So I'm kind of, I guess for the non-sampler things, they're sort of in seasonal order. So this is Finger Lakes Sampler by Bright Needle. Bright Needle came back and they've disappeared again. So I don't know if they're still working on it. They published some charts last year or the year before. And I was able to get one of them, but not one or two of them, but not all of the ones that I wanted. But anyway, this is Finger Lakes Sampler. And this was passed on to me by Abby Bella Stitch. Thank you, Abby. And no, I haven't finished it quite yet. I had wanted to finish this in 2023 because I personalized it, as you'll see in a second, in honor of the 40th reunion of when I graduated from college, because I went to college at Wells College, which at the time was a women's college, but it's on Cayuga Lake, one of the Finger Lakes. And I got to go back there this summer and had a wonderful time. One of my friends from a class ahead of me is planning to go again. She had so much fun at her 40th. She's planning to go again this year in 2024, and I wish I could go, but I'm going to be teaching this summer, so excuse my slurp. Oh, and I forgot to mention what I'm drinking, but I'll do that after I show the sampler. Okay. So I'm finally down there by the lake, but you can see instead of my initials and the year, I put Wells 83. Now the school colors are actually red and white, but we have this tradition called odd even, and even year classes have green and blue, and odd year classes have purple and yellow. So I did mine in purple and yellow. I am using, let's see, get my working copy out here. So I feel like I'm jumping all over the place here. The linen is a 37 count. It is a legacy linen called Corn Tassel. And I am using some of the called for weeks dye works. I'm stitching this 1/2. I actually made quite a few subs. If you're interested, I can tell you. Just get a hold of me. But you know, I went with what I had. If I didn't have it, I found something similar or something that matched and coordinated with what I had already chosen. So I definitely want to work on this one this year. So part of the reason I'm doing this is to help me, and here are my threads, help me decide what I'm going to work on this year besides samplers. Because I'm going to work on several samplers. Okay. So very muted palette. Okay. So I usually start off at the beginning of my FlossTube. Since this is a FlossTube extra, I'm kind of all out of order. But in my favorite Christmas mug, because the Catholic Christmas season ends on Monday with the Feast of the Baptism of Jesus. I am having a green tea latte that I made myself with almond milk. I use this matcha powder. So I heat up the milk in the microwave and then I stir in the powder. And it actually goes in pretty well. I used to add a little water to it first and make a paste and then add the milk to it. And I discovered when I was traveling one time that it works fine just to put the powder directly into the hot milk. It doesn't work so good for cold milk, but for hot milk it works. Okay, next up, some summer related things. So this is, oops, let me find the picture. Another Lizzy Kate. This was a kit that I bought a long time ago and started, I forget when I started this WIP. I could look it up, but I won't waste your time. But this is Summerlicious. It's a Boxer Junior by Lizzy Kate. So it came as a little kit with the fabric and the buttons. So you can see these little buttons. And you just needed to provide the floss. So I am, let's see, I'm using all the called for floss. So and they came like this. The linen is 25 count flax Dublin linen. Okay, so here are the threads. Oh, that's where some of the ones I've been looking for are. On my little thread bed that my friend Susan made for me. And then, let's see if I can hold it up against this paper, because this is a little thin. So it's 25 count. I'm very close to a finish. What do I have left? Looks like the only thing I have left are the bees. Oh, and the sun. The bees and the sun. I'm a very seasonal stitcher, so I doubt this will come out again until next summer. I just realized that I did this out of the order I intended to, but that's okay. Okay, so these are the things that I'm showing you now are all things that I already had on the go. I have another pile of things that I started this year. So okay, now I am not absolutely positive that I worked on this past year. I know I intended to, and I did not see it in my book of days. I try to keep track in my book of days, but sometimes I forget, or let's just say sometimes I fall asleep over my stitching and my spouse has to wake me up and get me to go upstairs and go to bed. When that happens several days in a row, or there's sometimes I don't have time to stitch on a particular day, I go several days without writing anything in my book of days, and sometimes I forget what I worked on. But I'm pretty sure I put at least a few stitches in this one during July. So this is another Uber. This is Uber Flag. And I'm doing this one also on 18 count light natural linen with number 5 pearl cotton. I have my threads. No, my threads are kind of, I didn't even put them on a ring. But let's see, what am I using? Looks like I'm using all the called for on this one. So Uber Flag. I actually had the flagpole in at one point, and I forget, something was wrong with it, and whatever it was, for some reason I decided to pull it all out and start over. So I did. It was in the wrong place, and I think it was, maybe it was too close to this edge. And yes, I know I'm close to the edge, but I'm planning actually to make pillows out of these. My original plan was wall hangings, but I've decided my couch needs pillows. So I'm gonna do pillows out of all of these Ubers. Okay. This one is in there. Another summer. Oops. So this is a Stitch for Sweet Freedom by Lindy Stitches. I am using a mostly the called for. I am doing a few subs of like the DMC for the over dye, and I think actually I decided on a different over dye for one of them. Unless, no, we'll see. I don't remember. Oh yes, it was the lettering. It called for Weeks Dye Works Navy or DMC 803, and I decided instead to use 930. I liked that blue better with the other blues. And that's where I am. So I am working on the woman, and I just need to finish her. And this is another one that I'm planning to make into like a quilted wall hanging instead of with some patriotic fabrics that I have instead of framing it. So I'm a little close over here, but that's okay. So that was a Stitch for Sweet Freedom. Oh, I didn't say this fabric is not the called for, it's a different one. This is 40 count. Oh shoot, I forgot. It's been a while. It's a Lakeside linen. I want to say wisteria, but don't quote me on that. So it's rather blue looking. To me anyway. To me it looks blue. And some lights has a slight lavendery cast to it, but to me it looks blue. That's why I decided to use it for that one. Okay. This kind of summer into fall. This is homegrown. This was, it's So Emma. It was a cross stitch quarterly that my friend Susan had bought, and then she rekitted it for me because I love sunflowers. So here's where I am. I'm on the E. I do have some more work to put in on the sunflower, but I've been trying to stitch a bit on the letters because I don't want to just have letters to work on. On the H, I actually did the outline and then did fill in, but I decided not to do that with the E because I did make some mistakes on the H in my counting. I fudged it, but but because of that, I decided to put the E in next and then count the M off of the E rather than off the H. So the E I counted off the sunflower, which is, as far as I know, is correct. And I'm using the called for threads. It's all DMC. This is 28 count. This is a 28 count. It's the called for whitewashed board number 14 by Fabric Flare. This is the 28 count Lugana. The original came with 14 count Ada, and I'm stitching 2/2 on that one. A Stitch for Sweet Freedom, since it's on 40. For me, if I don't say 36 and above, I use 1 strand. For linens, for 18 and above, I use 1 strand. Excuse me. Anything below 36, I use 2. Unless it calls for more. Some things for 25 count, they said use 3. And I have done that. Next up in the fall category, and all of these just fell over. Let's see. Do that. Is this Blackbird Designs Casting a Spell. This was my dark October stitch. I started this several years ago. I do have the box, so I do plan to do the finishing. I need to do the painting of the box and so forth. So this was all kitted up. Here's my thread bed. And I am using the called for Gentle Arts threads. And here are the pieces that I have done so far. All of these are completed. So this is 30 count cappuccino. It is not the called for, but I do like it. So this was kitted up by what was then my local needle workshop. So I plan for this to be my dark 13 stitch, but half the time I forget, or I don't have time to stitch on the 13th. Usually on the weekends, especially on Sunday, I stitch samplers. So if the 13th falls on a Sunday, I may not do dark 13 stitching. We'll see how I feel. So far I have this one, one of these two, I forget which one, this one, and this one. So I guess I just need, is that right? Yeah, so I need to do the other one of these and then these two. So I should be able to finish it this year. And then who knows how long it'll take me to do that finishing. Should finish the stitching this year anyway, in 2024. I'm not a big Halloween stitcher. I do stitch more fall. I actually have quite a few fall stitchery things, but I love pumpkins. Not as much into Halloween. I'm not sure what I'll do when I'm done with that one. Yeah, actually, the next one would work, the dark 13, dark October. So this is actually my Black November stitch. So it's dark cross, one of the dark crosses by Modern Folk Embroidery, the La Calavera Katrina. This is a Day of the Dead piece. So I am stitching it on can't remember if this is 36 or it's either 36 or 40 count legacy. It was a legacy that to me seemed darker and doesn't have the greenish cast to it that legacy by Picture This Plus often does, but I'm stitching it on whatever this is. I think it's 40 count, but it might be 36. And I'm using Weeks Dye Works Onyx because I, for some reason, had a bunch of it in my stash. So there you have it. La Calavera Katrina. Okay, then the last of my non-sampler, non-reproduction sampler continuing WIPs, when I had started a while ago, is, oh, there it is. I've been looking all over the place for this needle minder. I could not find it in October, and I thought I had lost it. Yay! So maybe I should take it out of there. Anyway, so this is the Kitty Cottage Sampler by Little House Needleworks. I started this, I believe, I'm pretty sure in 2020 during lockdown. And I'm stitching it on, let's see, what does it call for? I did do quite a few, or I shouldn't say quite a few. I did some substitutions based on what I had in. Oh, so it was, I did all substitutions. I'm stitching it on 32 count Country French Latte. So let me show you. And it's charted for DMC, but I did my own overdye conversion. And if you're interested in it, please just contact me. I'd be happy to share it. Okay, so this is the picture. And this is how far I've gotten. I know I worked on it early last year. Forget exactly when. I just remember I picked it up again because, oh, and here's, like, I'm totally scatterbrained today. So here's my conversion. I picked it up because Abby Bella Stitch and some other folks were doing some kind of sal where I just had to have an alphabet in it. I forget what the sal was called. I'd have to go back and look in Instagram. Okay, let me put this away real quick. A little note to myself because I made a mistake on the leaves in that corner. And so I was like, don't count from there. Okay. I am going. So now I know why I couldn't find this, because I wouldn't consider that necessarily a fall piece. So let me just leave all the needles on there and just take the one. It's got some thread on it. And there's two with some thread on it. Stick those in the bag. Oh, and that's where my fancy needles went. Like about a year ago, I moved back to Corpus Christi from Brownsville, Texas, and not everything is back where it should be, let's just say. My spouse took over the house while I was gone for his business. Okay, so that was Kitty Cottage Sampler. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to new starts that are not reproduction samplers. So new starts in 2023 that are not reproduction samplers. Okay, so if you want the samplers, you're going to have to wait till the end. No, actually, after I post this, I'll try to look through and see, or when I post this, I'll look through and see when I get to the samplers, and I'll make a note for those of you that love samplers and just want to see the samplers. I'm a very eclectic stitcher, as those of you who have followed me for a while know. So this was a kit called Easter Treat from the Trilogy. I have no idea if this is still available. I did not, I suppose if I was on the ball, I could have gone on to Hoffman and looked, but I did not. So this is from 2010. So it's probably been in my stash since around that time. So it's called Easter Treat. So it was a full kit, I believe. Yes. The linen is 32 count summer khaki. And the threads are combination of Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Arts. Yes, completely Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Arts. Everything came in the kit, including, oh yeah, there's a button here, little bug, and here it is. So if you've ever gotten these kind of little kits from the Trilogy or Heart and Hand or Bent Creek, or Lizzy Kate, they come with the floss in these little bags. So if I had my act together, I'd put these on a ring, but I didn't, because I was actually thinking I would finish this. But I've also been busy stitching samplers in 2023. Okay, so here is where I've got so far. So I need to do the basket. You can see I need to do the basket and then the Happy Easter underneath. And so I'll probably pull this back out again just before Easter and see if I can finish it up. And I'm probably gonna do the FFOing on this one as a pillow is what I'm thinking right now. We shall see. I might do it as an ornament. Actually, yeah. So that's 32 count. So it calls for stitching 2 over 2, which is what I've been doing. Next new start, and these are not, they're kinda in order, not really, kinda, somewhat in order. Okay. Do I have a picture? No. So this next one is the Caterpillar Cross Stitch Positivity Rules Stitch Along from 2020. See if I can get a picture. Did they have a picture? No, there was no picture. Sorry. All I have is the chart. Yeah, there's no picture. I thought, yeah. Sorry about that. So I'm using all the called for. It looks like so these are not all the threads, but it's charted in DMC. It's originally released in 5 parts. I am stitching mine on 28 count Sprite by Picture This Plus. And somewhere I actually have the needle minder. They always do a needle minder for all their sows. So I started this, I think, in April. I was in a funk and it's like, I need something colorful and happy. So this is actually a house, and it has all kinds of words and so forth. You know, share, kind, trust, patience, grateful. It's very cute. I'm sure if you go on the Caterpillar Cross Stitch website, you'll find a picture. But for some reason, I never downloaded a picture or did a screenshot. Okay, so these are most of the DMC that are called for. My little notes here indicate some got borrowed for other projects and may or may not have made their way back in here. Probably not. Unless I put a note. What I try to do when I borrow threads from something that I'm not going to stitch on anytime soon, I try to put a note in both, like the one I'm borrowing from and the one I actually borrow it for, with the hope that I'll actually put it back. Okay, This next one is the Barbara Anna. This is another freebie that you can get from her Instagram. It's called The Key. And actually, I think this might have been the first freebie that she posted during the pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic. So it's Barbara Anna Designs, The Key. It is charted with DMC. I am stitching mine. I tried to find something that was similar in color to the background. This is, oh shoot. I know it's 32 count. I know it's Witcholt. I don't remember the color, the name of the color. It might be Mediterranean. Here, that's a little bit closer to the actual color. I think it might be Mediterranean blue or something like that. Okay, let me check real fast. No, I have it in my Xstitch app. Journal. Mediterranean Sea is the name of the color. And I'm using all the called for. And I believe I've actually borrowed some for other things. And this is the thread bed that I'm using because it matches and I'm matchy. And I do have a needle minder on this one. This is from a Fat Quarter Shop. It's So Emma Stitch Quarterly a couple years ago. Okay, so that was The Key by Barbara Anna. 2/2 on 32 count Mediterranean Sea by, I believe, by Witcholt. Okay, next up, New Start. That's not a sampler. This was a stitch along, for me a start along, with the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild that I'm a member of. I'm actually currently the program assistant and will be program chair starting in March. But this is the Blue Flowers Tudor Bee. I am using the DMC and I'm stitching it on 40 count purled barley by Lakeside Linen because I had some in my stash. That was the perfect size. So I still need to do everything over here and a few things in here. The original design actually was a design specifically for the Tudor Rose Guild before I joined. So I don't have that one, but then Janine changed it up a little bit and made a general release. So this is part of her bee series, which I want to get more of. And there you go. I forget why I didn't finish that one. I got stitching something else. I forget what. I could have won something. I had kept stitching instead of... Oh, and then the needle minder I'm using for this one is this. Bee Scap. I love bee scaps. The next one is also a new start for the Tudor Rose Guild, another stitch along. I've got a couple of different things in here because I plan on stitching them on the same linen. So linen from my stash, and the piece is one of the Quaker Horn books. Which one? This one. I do have the horn book. So the guild got this from With My Needle, Ellen Chester. I think the smallest number she'll do is 10. So if you can get 10 people together and contact her, you could do this and get the horn book too. So I am stitching mine on a 36 count linen from my stash. And I have made probably no more progress than the last time I showed this back in June or July, whenever it was. So basically I have everything done but the over one, because I fight over one on linen, but I've got a few things to try and I just need to sit down and do it. Different things that I've read about stitching over one. I seem to be able to do it just fine on like Lugana, but for some reason on linen, I just never like how it looks. And I'm using Belle Soie Mer Bleu. So I just need to get that one finished and then do the finishing. Which I missed when the guild had their thing on the finishing. I've got some other things in here, including a chart that I'm planning to do for the Book It Sal later this year, sometime this year. Okay. And then another start, something I started sometime in May, June, July, I forget exactly when. And oh, I never printed out a picture because I was stitching this from my, let's see, it should be on my Dropbox. This would be Fat Quarter Shop. So this is the stitch along. Is there a picture? Yes, there's a picture. So you can still get this on their website. So this is their Bountiful stitch along. I also have the quilt kit. Have I started it? No. But this was their fundraiser for Make-A-Wish this year. Or I should say in 2023. I have a minuscule start. So I waited and started. I'm not even sure which way is up, to be honest. It's a square, doesn't really matter. But there it is. So I'm using the called for threads on a 14 count white Aida. I thought about subbing a linen, but I didn't have anything I really liked for it at the time that I was getting ready to start this, and I forget where I picked it up, or maybe it was gifted to me, this big huge thing of white Aida, so I decided to use that. And I am using this thread bed, and I have this Woolly Sheep needle minder. Do I like needle minders? Yes, I do. And I bought and I forget how this works. I bought all the threads. So I'm just storing them in here instead of putting them on a ring. I should probably just put them on a ring. So it's all classic color works. I'm using all the classic, called for classic color works. Okay. It's a big pile down there. Okay, this is the last non-sampler. So this is, I think I started this in October or November, or September, I forget, this fall. It is Autumn Owl, or Ibu de l'Automne by Pigeon Coop. I really like his stuff, their stuff. Very nature themed, has a lot of really cool birds. So this is the owl. I got this one as a kit This particular kit did not come with the hoop. So I think when I bought it, you could only get it as a kit. Some of his kits come with the hoop, some don't. This one did not. I do like how he kits up things, although apparently he's thinking about changing that up. And somehow I lost the needle on this one. That's okay. I have plenty of needles. So this is 14 count Oatmeal Ada by Zweigart. But you know, that came with the kit. Well, it looks like I spilled coffee or something on the chart, or at least the picture. I get a lot of his stuff on PDF because you know it's easy to get DMC and Ada, or to sub out for linen. So lately I've mainly been buying PDFs from him, but he has a few that are they're sort of an oblong hoop, and those I usually get the kit because I don't want to have to try to find the hoop. So those are all my non-sampler WIPs. Okay, so I'm noting the time so I can put this in the description. So the rest of what I have to show you are reproduction samplers that either I started before 2023 and worked on in 2023, or started in 2023. So I'm going to first show you the ones that I already had started before 2023, but I worked on sometime during 2023 because there's only 2 of those. Yes. Both of them are Hands Across the Sea, and this is actually the order that I started them. This is Esther Blackwood, 1853. It was the Traditional Stitches SAL for 2021, maybe? Or 2020? 2022? I forget when this SAL started. Oh, you know what? It might have been December of 2021. Or maybe not. So I purchased the chart, the booklet, and the linen. And the linen is vintage pecan butter. The called for, or what the model was stitched on, was 40 count, but I think I actually ended up getting 36 count. I'm doing my own overdye conversion. I have not completely converted. The first couple of conversions I did completely convert before I started stitching. And then I ended up switching some things out. This one, both in terms of wanting to save time, as well as, I think what's the main thing is not having to, I didn't want to spend the time to do the complete conversion. So I had decided to just do the conversion in pieces. So this is the conversion that I did for the first, what was originally the first month or 2 of stitching. And that's all I've done. Okay. Where did it go? Here we go. So I believe this is a bigger piece than we actually need. I have not, I cut some of this off. I think I have, yes, I think I have cut some of this off. So this is a big one. So I did work on this a little bit this year. I forget exactly what I did. I think I put some more of this in. Something up here is actually, I forget exactly what is in the wrong place, but I fudged it, and I'm good to go forward. So actually, it's the fabric's darker, the linen's darker than it's appearing. Anyway, so this is what I have done. I wanted to do this one. It's a Canadian sampler because I wasn't going to do it. And this is, I don't think this one is available any longer. I think they did finally sell them all. But you can check Traditional Stitches website. They may or may not still have this one. The chart anyway. But since it was a Canadian sampler and my spouse's family, when they first came to North America, or at least for part of the family, first came to North America on his dad's side, they were in Quebec, so Canada, and he still has family there in different parts of Canada. So I wanted to do a Canadian sampler, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do here, but I may put some info about his family because we are, I forget exactly when they came. I can't remember if it was 1725 or 1735. But anyway, we're coming up on 300 years of his family, the Grises, being in North America. So maybe I'll have it done by then. That would be nice. Okay, so that was one. And then this next one is one that I really originally wanted to finish this year until I went down the rabbit hole of stitching tons of small Hands Across the Sea samplers. This is Rose Ada Featherstone. It was an exclusive from Hobby House, so that previous one is exclusive from Traditional Stitches. This is exclusive from Hobby House, and also had with it the Jane Elizabeth Milner, which was my blessing sampler that year. So this one, the sal was in 2022. So I've been like a year behind finishing the sals because the very first one that I did I should say what the sal was for. It was the sal, the stitch along in our sampler years group on Facebook. And so I did actually, so the first one I did was Ann Roberts. I think previously I said it was Martha Dawson in a previous video, but the very first one I did was Ann Roberts, and I didn't start it until late in the year because I was waiting for supplies because it was 2020 and and then in 2021 it was Martha Dawson, so I actually started that one on time, but then I wanted to finish Ann Roberts, which I didn't finish till like September. So then last year I finished so in 2022, I finished Martha Dawson and started this one. I believe I did actually start this one on January 1st, or no, I know I started this one on January 1st. And then this one after I finished that one. But here's Rose Ada. So I got the kit from Hobby House. Oops, got a hanging thread there. I need to finish that off. So this is, I forget the fabric. What is the fabric? Anyway, I bought the kit with their overdye conversion. Just I was interested to see how somebody else did the conversion. And the kit had, I don't remember the fabric, but it's I believe for this one I'm doing the 40 count. Sorry, let me look real quick. It's, yes, 40 count antique lace linen from Seraphim. So that was part of the kit. So here's what she looks like, and here's what mine looks like. I do like it with the overdyes. I do not know if I will finish this one this year or not. I would like to, but I've decided this year I will stitch along with the Sal. So this year, if you go back a couple of my floss tubes, you'll see the this year they're doing Harriet Hay, and I still need to get some of the threads, but I have enough to get started this month. I started my blessing sampler on the 1st. I was traveling and I didn't want to bring a bunch of stuff with me, and the blessing sampler I chose is a red sampler, so it was easy just to bring my little bag with my one thread. I will show that in my next floss tube. Okay, 3 more, and then I need to get up and walk around. Okay, next. So this was Mary Florence Dickinson, which was our Sampler Your Sal from last year, 2023. So obviously I didn't finish this one either, so I'm now 2 years behind instead of 1. But this was another one that was an exclusive to Hobby House. For this one, I did not get the kit because I wanted to do my own overdye conversion. They weren't offering an overdye conversion on this one. I decided, just decided I wanted to do my own overdye conversion. So I'm doing the same thing that I'm doing with Esther Blackwood, and I just did a partial conversion. So this is the conversion for the first couple of, actually I think it's just for the first month of stitching, because that's all I got done last year, because like I said, I fell down the rabbit hole of these small samplers and I really concentrated on them and actually got 5 or 6 of them done. Check my Instagram for sure, to be sure. But this is all I got done. A little bit of the border. And I'm stitching this on, is this 36 or 40 count? I think it's 40 count. I know it's Vintage Country Mocha by Zweigart. I just can't remember if I decided to do it on 36 or 40, and my eyes aren't good enough to tell for sure. So let me look real quick. So this is Florence, oops. .40 count. I thought it was the 40 count, but I wasn't absolutely sure. So this is 40 count Vintage Country Mocha is what I decided to use. I decided it was close enough to, like in tone anyway, to, this is actually Tabby Cat Creme Brulee. Okay, so far I'm using a few Gentle Arts and a few Weeks Dye Works. And again, I have no idea if I'll work on this at all this year. It depends, because I want to keep up with the other style, and there's a couple other samplers that I really want to make some progress on this year. Next up, this one. Am I doing this one? This one I'm doing with the Called For DMC, and I have not pulled them all yet. And for some reason, they're not on the ring. So I'm not even going to show them to you. Okay, so this is the Scarlet House Martha Evans. that is an ongoing Sal stitch along for Brenda Sampler Stitcher on Instagram. And I have a minuscule start. Let's see. Where is my start? So this is Mountain Air 40 count buckskin. And why is my needle there if my stitching is way over here? Did I say minuscule? Yes, that's all I've done. This is one I would like to get back to. It's a beautiful sampler, and when you pull the colors, it's actually more vibrant than it looks in the picture. So I would like to get some stitching done on this one. I'm really thinking about doing Carolyn at Evertote. Others have mentioned this. She started doing a thing where something she wants to make progress on. She makes a commitment to stitch 10 minutes a day on it. And I'm really thinking about doing something like that. The big problem is, which piece do I do that? So something I'm thinking about. It might be something that is maybe relatively close to being finished, so I can, make progress and finish it and then choose something else. But, when things get busy, there are times when I don't even have 10 minutes or I'm just too tired. So we shall see. And then last but not least, my last WIP, that's a new start for this year, is Mary Gibson. I've heard people pronounce this different ways, but Christine of Whilst Iris Naps, I'm pretty sure she pronounced it Gibson. It's G-Y-P-S-O-N for the last name. But this is Mary Gibson. I think I might try to make a concerted effort to work on this on Monday nights. The Our Sampler Years group on Facebook has a Mondays with Mary thing going on that Krista Grammer of Just Stitching Along hosts pretty much every Monday night. And I rarely tune in. I'm very spotty. But even when I'm not going to tune in, I might try to work on this at least a little bit on Monday nights. We'll see. We'll see how long that lasts. But so I bought the kit. So this was from the Homespun Needlework group. The woman that runs that, I think her name is Judy. I'm so bad with names. She does these things that are at least exclusive for a time in the group. And this was one that you would buy the whole kit from, I'm sorry, it's right here. Homespun Needlework Facebook group. And this one was one you could buy through Hobby House. It's by Whilst Iris Naps. I'm not sure if I said that, Whilst Iris Naps. And my understanding is that sometime this year, late this year, maybe, because I forget when this came out in the group. I think it was in the spring or early summer. Anyway, sometime in 2024, I think Christine is going to release this generally. But right now, it is not available. You had to buy it at the time. You had to do a pre-order. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, oh, did I show? I didn't show it. Okay. So here's my thread bed from my friend Susan. So the kit came with all the called for Weeks Dye Works. Christine does, I think, pretty much most of her stuff in Weeks Dye Works, and it came with this bling. And this is 40 count needle and flax. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, 40 count Thornfield by Needle and Flax. And here's where I am. So this is something that I would definitely like to make more progress on this year. I just love the colors. Usually can make pretty good progress on alphabets. So definitely if I work on this on Monday nights, I could make some progress. Yes, I have hanging threads. I have some over here too. I never do. I know a lot of people like to complete the border, and then I never do that. I kind of hop around. I think I would get bored if I just tried to do the border, but I also don't want to leave it all to the end. So I do try to do the border. If there's a border, I try to do some of the border, like I'll do some stuff inside. I do enough of the border so I can get inside, and then I do little bits of the border here and there as I'm working on the inside. Like I'll do a motif and then do some border, and then another motif and then some border. So that's it. Those are all the things that I touched or started in 2023. As I said, I do have more. So that was about, without the Christmas ones that I showed you right at the beginning, that was about 19 or 20. And so I have about 50 more that are started to some, at least, that are started to some extent. So I doubt I will do a complete WIP parade, but I will be going through them to choose some stuff to try to work on, or like I said, to try to find something. I don't know if it'll be one of those, but try to find something that I can use to sort of focus on for 10 minutes a day or something like that. But so thank you if you stayed till the end. Thank you very much. As I said, this is an extra, so I'm not doing any of this stuff I often do during one of my floss tubes. There's no science corner this time, but I do plan to have a regular floss tube within the next week or two, depending on how much I have to show. I did work on a couple of things already since my last floss tube and last regular floss tube, and plan to work on a few things this weekend and during the week. So again, thank you for coming. And as always, please take time to be kind to yourself and always be kind to your neighbor. Bye.